Hey, it's me. I'm pulling out of my parking garage, so please bear with me. Right now, I don't even know exactly what this video is going to be about. I wanted to record a new video yesterday, and then I made the mistake of signing into Twitter and clicking on the hashtag McKinney. Honestly, I thought maybe Cynthia McKinney was running for president or something, because all these candidates are announcing their campaigns, and that's really what I thought it was going to be. Of course, that's not what it was. Most of us, if not all of us, have heard by now about what went down with the police and a pool party full of children in McKinney, Texas. I couldn't believe the tweets that I was seeing. They said that a police officer pulled his gun on unarmed children, and I don't know why I couldn't believe it, but I didn't want to believe it. So I watched several different videos. There are two videos from two different angles, and then I watched another video of two women and one girl fighting. I am disgusted, I'm dismayed, I'm disheartened, I'm pissed off that things like this keep happening. We have a serious racial issue in this country, and this is what happens when you don't talk about race in a real way. This country's status in the world is due to centuries of free labor that my ancestors gave. So for black people to be relegated to second or third, or not even third or fourth, to lesser status than white people, I'm appalled that this is going on. But it's because we don't talk about race in any real way without people getting upset. Oh, you're not talking about me, are you? I'm not racist. I'm not. Here, I'm going to pull over. It's such a big conversation that I'm not even sure what this video is about. So I'm sorry in advance. And I also may use a word a derogatory word that you probably won't like, but I'm warning you in advance. So if you're very sensitive to that sort of thing, then you may want to turn this off right now. But here, can you see me? Yeah, I am. I'm gonna head to the gym in a minute, but this has been on my mind, so I figured I should just go ahead and make a video. Yesterday, I let all of that go. I lived my life. It was a Sunday. It was beautiful. And thinking about having these children, having this gun pulled on them, this little girl who the cop wrestled to the ground and then put his knee on her spine, and the fact that I don't think black children are seen as children. There's something, and I've seen it in my own life, where I lived in Iowa City for about 10 years. I went to college there, and then I stayed there for some time after college. And I remember I think I was 25, and I don't want to say where I worked. I don't want to implicate anybody, but my coworkers, I was often in spaces where I was the only person of color, any color other than white. My job was no different. And I was about 25 years old. This kid came, I guess he was going door to door selling wind chimes. And I like wind chimes. I think they're cute. And I bought 2 wind chimes for him. They were like, I don't know, $5 each, if that. They weren't much, but they were really cute. And I stood and I talked to him. He's a little black kid. I'd say he was probably about 17, something like that. And it was evident, kids, it was evident by talking. He was tall, but he didn't look like a grown man. He didn't sound like a grown man. And we just chatted for a little bit. Because I was making a purchase. I was a customer. He was a nice kid. That's it. When I went back in, my coworkers, who happen to be white, started making comments about, you should go out with him. And I was like, what? Yeah, I saw how he was looking at you, and I'm not saying that somebody who's 17-ish can't be attracted to somebody who's older, but that was not what was going on. And I could not imagine, if that had been a little white boy, them saying, oh, you should go out with him. Or if I had said, oh, he's kind of cute, I think I'm going to hook up with him, I think they would have been horrified. This is somebody's child. Why would I do that? Since then, I've seen other instances of people not seeing either black people as people or not seeing black children as children. I see children of all races as children. You can usually tell. You look in their face, even if their bodies are fully developed, or they're tall, or they're big, or whatever it is. If you look at, it's like looking at a big puppy. You know that the dog is not full grown, because they still, the paws are still kind of floppy, and their face is, still kind of round or whatever. Children. And if you can't tell by looking at them, you can certainly tell after you talk to them for a couple minutes. So to see children treated that way, and I don't have any children. I don't have any. I don't want any, but that's not to say that I don't like kids. I like kids. I love kids. I have sisters. Well, they're not kids anymore, but I have a zillion nieces and nephews. I've lost count. I think I have 17. I think. And I have a great niece. I love them all. To think that they are growing up in a world where they could be treated that way by police officers who are supposed to be protecting them. I have a serious problem with that. There's a serious problem in this country. Today, I was doing some work. Well, I was getting ready to do some work. I wasn't actually doing it yet, but I was setting up, and I decided to pop into Twitter and just see what was going on. That's usually how I get my news. I see more tweets about McKinney. They're still going on. And I tweet something like, I hate to, let's see. Oh, I don't want to be angry about McKinney today. It makes my head hurt, which is true. It makes me feel like I'm getting high blood pressure, honestly. I don't have high blood pressure, but I suspect that this is how it feels. Like it makes my head hurt. And that was it. Somebody that I didn't tweet, I don't know this person, we've never corresponded, talked, anything, called me a nigger. And I first saw it, I was like, where they do that at? Because honestly, I can count on one hand, even with this, I can count on one hand the number of times that I've been called that. And I sat for a minute, because being called a nigger for me, and I'm using the word because that's the word they chose to use, and yeah, that's the word that they chose to use, and I'd like to use the word in this video. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I don't generally curse. I don't use derogatory, racially derogatory terms or anything, but I'm using it right now. I generally don't take offense at a word someone calls me. It's more the intention behind it. So the fact that he called me a nigga, it was just like, okay, I see. I don't know you. You can't hurt my feelings because you don't know me. So I'm not, anything you say to me or about me, I'm taking with a grain of salt. But I see you coming for me. Not only can you not hurt me, but you're not even imaginative with the words that you use to try to insult me. And I know I'm not a nigga. Like, I don't identify with that. Nigger and black are not the same thing to me. As a matter of fact, the word nigga to me is not always nigga. It's not always the same. It's not. I know there's an ongoing debate about whether white people can use the word or what. You can use whatever words you want to use. I would question why you want to use a word that's hurtful to a lot of people. It just happens to not be hurtful to me personally because I have not been called it very often. I recognize that in itself is a blessing because there are people who got called that on a regular, who are still being called that in a derogatory manner, and it hurts them. It hurts them greatly. Me, I'm not one of those people. That has not been an issue for me personally. People calling me nigger has not, so I don't identify with it. If somebody says nigger, okay, you might as well call me a dandelion. I'm looking at dandelions over here. You might as well call me a dandelion because I'm not that either. That's how I feel about it. So he said that. I took a screenshot, and I posted it on my Twitter. This is what somebody called me. He said something about, shut up, nigger. You don't have a father, and you're poor. You don't have a father, and something else ridiculous. I don't know what it was. And I responded. If you go to my Twitter feed, it's there. I reported him to Twitter, and I blocked him, so I don't have to. We don't have to have any further correspondence. Which there was no previous correspondence, so I don't. He's just mad for whatever reason. He's just mad about something, and he's mad at black people, and he decided that we all niggas today. It seems to me like racism is getting worse. And it seems like it started getting worse. Is that better? Seems like it started, I don't know if that's better. I'm cutting my head off. It started getting worse when a black president got elected. I don't know what the fix is. I don't know. I don't know if this can't be the dying throes of the last racist generation, because there are too many young people that are saying racist things. On one hand, the police have a really, really hard job. I wouldn't be one of them. I couldn't be one of them. When something happens, we call the police. If somebody's breaking into my house or somebody's trying to do something to me, I am calling the police. And I need the police to show up quickly. If we prevent the police from doing their jobs, then what do? We just all get guns and start shooting each other, I guess. I don't really know. On the other hand, if you are a police officer, you are held to a higher standard. And yes, I know you put your life on the line. You have to make split second decisions. Again, I'm not equipped to be a police officer. Everybody will be shot. Really, I'm too jumpy. I'm too high strung. I can't do it. I don't know what the process is for selecting and training police officers. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's more than diversity training at this point. The police don't respect the people. A lot of the people, especially people of color, and we're going to talk specifically about black people in this video because that's what we're talking about. The police don't, not all police, okay? I know, not all police, but a lot of police lately don't seem to respect the people in the communities that they're policing. They're shooting black men in the street. They're shooting black women in the street, and that wasn't getting any really much airplay until recently, with the Say Her Name campaign. Now they're pulling guns on unarmed black children wearing bathing suits and slamming little girls to the ground. Like, is this happening in white neighborhoods? Because I don't hear about it. And I'm not saying that I want this to happen in white neighborhoods. It should not be happening to anyone's children. White, black, Latino, Asian, anybody's children. Something's very wrong here. And I think it's going to get worse. I think it's going to get worse until we really start talking about race in a real way. Every now and then reparations comes up and jokes are made. Oh yeah, I want my 40 acres and a mule. Oh, give me, so many $1,000 and I'm gonna go buy shoes with it or whatever. I don't know. Okay. I don't know what form of remuneration reparations would take. But how about an apology? How about an apology just like I went to the Japanese American Museum. George Bush issued an apology to the Japanese people for putting them in concentration camps. What about what has been done to the descendants of the Africans who were brought here and enslaved? Here's something we don't talk about. Generational wealth, okay? There are families in certain circles who have been filthy rich for generation after generation. Old money. Old money. A lot of it started in the slave trade and has its roots in the oppression of different groups of people. All right, we know that. They got their money. They get to keep their money. They live how they want to live. It's just, it is the way it is. If that is the case, why is it not also acknowledged that keeping a group of people enslaved for centuries can affect them inversely? Why wouldn't the opposite be true? That if you take one family, let's just say one family, and you put them in slavery for 200 years, okay? Let's just say that. That's a bunch of generations. And then you say, okay, you're free. Then what? What are they supposed to do? They haven't received the benefit of building generational wealth the way this other group of people has. There's going to be a stigma attached to these people. There are things that are passed down. They did a study recently. There's been a study that was done recently about, I can't see myself. I hope you can see me. There was I heard a study recently about children born into poverty. And the longer children live in poverty, the more it affects their brain chemistry. What do you think happens to the brains and the biology of groups of people that are kept in chains and basically let out to do work and then put back in chains for centuries? A century is 100 years, so centuries. We don't talk about race honestly in this country. We don't. And all great societies fall, and I worry that the U.S. may be next. This is my country. This is not, I don't know what kind of comments this video is going to get. Yeah, I don't know who's going to find it, and somebody may say something hateful. This is my home. This is my country. This is the only country that I know. So go back to Africa movement. I've never been to Africa. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've never been to Africa. I don't know what country in Africa. I mean, we all assume Nigeria, but I don't know what I wouldn't know the first thing about living in Africa. Yes, I'm a black woman, a black American of African descent, an African American woman, but I am very much an American, and I would like to see this country thriving, not just monetarily. But I'm really tired of the fighting. I'm tired of the liberals versus the progressives fight, the black people fighting white people. I don't see too much black and brown. I hear people mention it, but I live here in LA. There are lots of black people. There are even more brown people. And I personally haven't encountered any brown people that seem to have had a problem with me. And by brown people, I mean Latinos. And traveling internationally, I haven't found that to be an issue, but apparently that's an issue for some people. It mainly seems to be a black and white fight. I lived in Iowa City for 10 years, as I said before. I don't hate white people. I don't even dislike white people. I have had white people in my life that have been closer to me than some family members. So this is not a hate whitey type thing. Oh, my iPod is getting hot. It might turn off. This is not a I hate whitey type of thing. This is, I can't believe I'm about to quote Rodney King. Can we all just get along? Can we all just get along? My answer is no, we cannot all get along until some truths are told. You know? People don't like to air dirty laundry, but sunlight chases away mold. If you keep it in the dark, it just festers and it grows and becomes worse. Let some sunlight in. That's all I have to say about this. I would love to hear your comments. I can't fix the racial issues. I'm just disgusted at what I'm seeing. I'm disgusted. But this is a symptom. This is not the ill. This is a symptom. Police don't respect their residents. The residents don't respect the police. That's been an ongoing thing. I've been watching this for a long time. We all have. But when it's escalated to the point where police are pulling guns on unarmed children, something's got to give. Something's got to change. All right. I'm going to go to the gym and salvage the rest of this day. Hopefully it'll do a reset on my brain, and then I can go home and actually do some work. And I won't go on Twitter when I get home. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Thank you for watching. Please comment. I want to hear your thoughts. Thumbs up and subscribe. I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.